Good morning, everyone. I'm Aino Makili from EY Namibia, and I'm currently a client service executive. I completed my articles. I started in 2018 and I completed in 2020, so I am signed off. However, I'm not a qualified CA due to my board too. So I'm going to give you like a little background about EY Namibia. So EY Namibia's aim is actually to broaden the spectrum of accountancy. And what we do at EY is that we break down our departments into 4 departments. So we have assurance, which consists of audit and FIDS. So in audit, we are the ones that check if your books are correct, if your numbers agree, and advisory will always help you out with your problems. So they are the ones that see if you have fraud or something like that. Then the second department is the tax compliance. They ensure that you are happy, or that the receiver is actually happy with you, that your amounts are correct and that your returns are submitted on time. The third department is the advisory, which is also called the internal audit department. They are the ones that ensure that management's practices are in line, and they also help prepare for your next audit. The last one we have is TAS, that is Transaction Advisory Service. They are normally the department that will help you with any big transaction. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown what each and every single department does. So I did start off with assurance that had auditing and FIDS. So in auditing, what we do is that we ensure that your numbers are correct. We ensure that all the figures on your financial statements are correct and they agree back to your trial balance, and that all the misstatements are corrected. However, we do not give an opinion over the whole financial statements. We give a reasonable, which means that we do not test each and every single line item on your financial statements. Then another part of auditing that we have is that we have an advisory service where you can call us as external auditors to actually help you prepare before your other external auditors come in. Then we also have FIDS. So in FIDS, first is divided into 2 parts. The first part is that they investigate the fraud. So this happens is when you see in the newspaper when a company is found with fraud, they normally call in the forensics auditors, and they help to determine who made the mistake and how big is the financial impact on the entity. The second part of FIDS helps you to actually prevent the fraud. So you don't actually always have to wait until you have fraud in your entity. You can also call in the FIDS so that they can put in processes and controls in your entities to ensure that any fraud can be detected early or prevented. I'll move on to tax. Tax is the second. So tax deals with compliance. So we have 2 departments within the tax. We have consulting, which means that whenever you have any tax queries or you have encountered the transactions that you are not too aware of what the tax consequences are, we can give you advice on how to deal with the transaction, or what the consequences are when you are faced with a certain transaction, how the receiver would want you to handle it. The second part of tax, that would be the compliance. We have so many people that are busy, so many entities that cannot fulfill all the duties. So our compliance team is here to ensure that you actually submit your return on time, and to also remind you to pay your taxes on time. The next one I'm going to go to is consulting. So consulting consists out of 3. We have the business risk services, which is the internal audit. As I said earlier, internal auditors are in place to help management make the best decisions, to have the best effective controls in an entity, to ensure that your numbers are correct, there's no fraud and stuff like that. And also at times when there's a new standard and people in the entity do not understand, our business risk services can help with that. The second one, we have IT risk. Those are normally our IT auditors. They come audit your IT system and the controls around your computers and stuff like that to ensure it's correct. Then the last one is performance improvement. Now, performance improvements is like we try to enhance the entity's controls to ensure that the entity can be the best they can with that. I remember when I was first year, they had a project called robotics. Basically, that was a system where we were trying to replace the errors made by humans and to try have machines do that so we can have minimal errors. And then our last service is the transaction advisory services. A typical example of this is normally when you take over an entity like mergers and acquisitions, those technical kind of services, then our experts would always come in and try to ensure that you do those transactions correctly and you do it in the best financial way that you can, not resulting into a lot of losses. Then that's the end of my breakdown for the different services. EY is a global entity. We are like in 4 different areas, which is EMEA, and now Africa is part of EMEA. We have America, we have Pacific Asian, and we also have Japan. Currently, EY Namibia has 318 staff members. We are available in 150 countries and in the 4 global areas that I mentioned now. So at EY, it's not what we do that makes us EY, because audit is audit regardless of what audit firm you work in, but it's how we do it that I think makes us a better audit firm to work for.